And how to make this, I included this image to show you how a concept can be represented in infinite, endless ways, in endless images. For instance, this is exactly the same. This is the creation also of the red Adam of paradise, as Borges names him, and in the earth this is appearing. And you know, I like to, for you who will perhaps from today on know more about my work, I work a lot with chairs. I love chairs. So this is a representation, this is a planimetric work. It's big. And here you will see also Hebrew letters. It is made, the original chair is made with fibers, real fibers. You will see now. And this is the photograph of a piece of wood. And here the real chair. This is not a photo, this is three dimensions. It's a real chair. You know, there are two words in Hebrew to say creation. One is Bria and the other one is Yetzirah. Bria is the creation that only God can make. It's creation from nothing. Yetzirah is what all of us are doing all the time, is the creation based on what is already created. So, the piece of wood is Bria. All the chair is Yetzirah. Made of wood. I replaced a piece of the wood with a metal tube and touched a little bit, like with a mountain, a little bit, the vein of the wood on the seat, so the reflection on the metal tube, you can see Eve and Adam. This is the reflection of the vein. So these are different ways with which I show exactly the same concept. This belongs to the book on Borges and Kabbalah. You know, first was the verb, it is said, because God said that the light will be created, and afterward it was created. So first he said. That's why the importance of the letter also. The first letter of the Torah is letter Bet. The last one is letter Lamed. Together they, you know, Hebrew letters have a numerical value. They make 32. 32 is said Lev. Lev means heart. That's why I made this etching. These are also 32. It is said also that 32 paths leads you to knowledge. And this is also a page of the book. These are the previous one also, so don't get confused. It's hard not to get confused with me because I am I myself am a labyrinth. But what you saw in the previous one is also inside the book. So here you perceive the shape of the book, but everything is in the book. This has to do with the circular ruins. You know, perhaps, I don't know exactly the fields of all of you, but in the circular ruins, Borges speaks about a man that is dreaming another man. He dreams a son, and he dreams very, very accurately, organ by organ, very slowly, and in one moment everything is burned, and only his son is not burned. And he says, what a humiliation. He will realize that he is only, in Spanish, a simulacro. In English, okay. And in the end of the story, the one who is dreaming realizes that he is being dreamed by another one. So you see, it's the same as the golem. All these series of works are texts by Borges that are clearly influenced by his Jewish concepts. So when Saul and I arrived to this point in the book, we said, and if this book is only a dream, let's burn the books. And all of them were burned. So we realized they were real. So all the 25 books are burned in the same place. And here it says Tselem, that is image or shadow also. And this is not in the book, but also belong to another exhibition that we made, Saul and I, on the same theme, that has to do with the circular ruins, okay? This was in Maryland, this exhibition, at the University of Maryland. And now the real chair, because I used to say that I live in a Borgian world. So what is real is completely mixed with the representation and the imagination. So this is a real chair, where you will see the poet that you saw in the drawing, but for the first time you will see two poets, the conception of another one. You know, Kabbalah comes from lekabel. Lekabel means to receive, but to receive in order to be prepared to give. That's why it is usually translated as a tradition. And in this chair on the back, also burned, always is inside the same image of the poet. I could speak about techniques. Today I saw this exhibition about photography. This is done. This technique that I used here is the grandfather of photography, because it's explained here. This is a Van Dyck technique that is the same of another one that is explained, but it's a sensibilized paper and exposed to light. And this is the page of the book where these two poets appear. And this is on the exhibition that represents, this is a digital print, exactly with the same idea, the two poets, but this time three-dimensional, the image of the book in a digital print, and our hands working. And this, the name of this work is Made of Mud. And the meaning, what I try to transmit, is that we people are also made of mud, as the golem. And here in the book of Borges and Kabbalah, the golem. Perhaps you know the poem that Borges wrote on the golem, that he says is one of his best poems. I don't know if some of you have been in Prague. The poem takes place because alludes to a story, a legend that in Prague, Rabbi Löw created a golem. It's a Frankenstein, a robot, to protect the community. But he created with combinations of letters. But it came out not perfect, so this golem he was strong, but he couldn't think. So the story says that he had written the word emet under his tongue and on his front, and that every Saturday, every Shabbat, they had to take out one letter for him to rest. But one Shabbat, the rabbi forgot to take this letter away, and the golem became wild. The legend says that the golem tries to come to life every 33 years somehow. So here you can see the city of Prague. If you will go, you will recognize the clocks of the city hall, the cemetery, the scales that lead you to the castle, also, you know, the castle that Kafka wrote, the castle, and where the alchemist lived. If you turn this page to another position, this is another one where is included the same image. You see, the upper part is the same image that in the etching. The same image in the upper part is in color in the middle, and the upper part, but like this, flattened like this, and turned down, you will see the profile of the golem with the word Emet in his tongue. And this is an installation that speaks about the Aleph, the letter Aleph. Uno de los puntos en el espacio que contiene todos los puntos. This is an installation that I made to represent also. So these concepts on Borges are not represented only on the shape of a book, but also in installations. So this is an installation where you have a very, very little place to look. And if you look there, you see this image. This is what you see in the little hole. But you see it with 3 dimensions. A little sculpture of the poet, again, a letter Aleph made of light on the floor, again the Aleph. Remember the first image that you saw, the square with the poet inside with the Latin letters and the human light? You remember the etching. This is the representation in 3 dimensions of that image. Another one. Another one where the Aleph is, it's the same concept in different works that I made. The poet again. And this is the center of an exhibition where all these works that you are seeing were exhibited. In the very center, you could find this. It was a sculpture with a plan of all the room made by many little poets. But all the room was built like a labyrinth with the shape of an Aleph. But people, when they were walking inside, they didn't realize that they were walking towards an Aleph of light. Only looking on the representations on the wall, they realized that they are seeing in the reality the same things that are represented. Can you follow me? Yes? Yes? That are, you will, afterwards, you will understand everything. Don't be anxious. At the end, you will, trust me, trust me. This is the sculpture, but if you look it from up, you see this is the poet in the very center. Everything confluges to that point. And this is a letter Aleph in the whole, but all done by poets. All of us are these poets.